Is Gonzaga joining the Pac-12? In short, the answer is no. And we're going to show you some Brett McMurphy and other reporting on this in a moment. But we have been telling you that Gonzaga has an open invitation to join the Big 12. And I confirmed yesterday that is still the case. But Gonzaga has said maybe. Not no, certainly not yes. They have said maybe. And as we discussed on the show yesterday, Gonzaga is a little hesitant to join, I am told, a power league where they are not assured of an NCAA tournament spot, because as much money as they're leaving on the table, being in the WCC from a media rights standpoint, they make that money back in more through branding and tournament shares. Risking that is a non-starter for Gonzaga, and it's why they have not joined the Big 12, and it's why they did not previously join the Pac-12. I am told that Gonzaga did get a Pac-12 invitation, and again, they have done the exact same thing to the Pac-12 that they've done to the Big 12, which is to say, maybe. They have not accepted it. They have not declined it. They said, maybe. Because I also think they're very much in the same situation for different reasons than the AAC members who said no. And that is that you don't know what you're signing up for. And if you are Gonzaga at this point, you've got it good in the WCC. Could it be better? Is the grass greener in a Pac-12 situation? You don't know, because you don't have a TV deal. You don't know who your fellow conference members are going to be. You do understand that San Diego State's a pretty good basketball brand, and Gonzaga and San Diego State being in the same conference is a pretty good foundation for college basketball. But what Gonzaga cannot do is make a mistake here and leave the WCC for the Pac-12 and not be on television regularly and not have matchups with clubs like St. Mary's, who is also a really good basketball program. And you look at the other members of the WCC, there's some good basketball programs in there, but clearly Gonzaga's the toast of the town in the WCC. And there is not a lot of reason for Gonzaga at this point in time to leave the WCC to go to the Pac-12, which is why they said, maybe. The Pac-12 has to build, and the Pac-12 has to be able to show Gonzaga, hey, this is why you want to join with us. You want every one of your games in basketball on Amazon Prime Video? Come and join the Pac-12. Hey, do you want a full share, $10 million just for being a basketball and all your other sports, even though you don't play football? Come and join the Pac-12. But the Pac-12 doesn't currently have the ability to do that, Jake, and I think that's why you saw Gonzaga say, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, the opportunity just isn't attractive enough at this time. And I think that, Gonzaga doesn't want to move or change the situation or anything like that until it's a sure bet. And I think I respect that. I think Gonzaga and what they've built is very respectable. Obviously, I mean, every single year being in the tournament, essentially, like always a marquee brand in that way. Like I think they deserve a lot of respect. But I again sit here and ask the question, like we have all day today, and seemingly the last several shows we've done. Like, what is the point of joining the Pac-12 right now if you're Gonzaga, if you're this school, if you're that school? Like, there's not enough value in the Pac-12 situation to make Gonzaga move. And I think, why would they not want to go to the Big 12? Well, the Big 12 is too good of a basketball league to ensure that you're going to win that conference every year. So, it's not that the Big 12 sucks. It's just that Gonzaga has it so good in their current situation. There's somebody that, isn't necessarily going to move on for something that's not a sure bet. And I understand it. I get it. There's nothing rarer in college athletics right now than a sure bet. And that's exactly what Gonzaga
100%.
has built for themselves. So I
agree.
I just think it's not hard to understand, but I also think on the other side of the coin, like whoever's able to close Gonzaga and get them into their conference is going to get a huge bump.
And I don't believe that that's going to happen anytime soon. I'd be shocked if we got Gonzaga moving to the Pac-12 in the next 6, 8, 10, 12 weeks, this year even.
Yeah.
Because there's no motivation for them to go. And if you look at our reporting on Gonzaga, we have been consistently ahead of the national media on that. We told you almost, I guess, 2 years ago now, that Gonzaga had an invitation from the Big 12.
Yeah, it goes all the way back to Brett Yormark's very first remarks in Kansas City about Gonzaga,
It
and Dennis
does.
Dodd asking him about it. And I mean, this has been an ongoing thing. And I think, again, everyone wanted to say, oh, well, they haven't joined the Big 12, and that's because the Big 12 sucks. And it's like, no, the Big 12 doesn't suck. It's the exact opposite. The Big 12 is, in fact, too competitive of a basketball conference and league for Gonzaga to feel like, yeah, this makes sense.
Because it doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
And I think at the end of every day, and you look back, man, how did Gonzaga not join the Big 12? Because it didn't make sense. And I think Brett Yormark did everything he could do to get Gonzaga and UConn in this league. And it just, from a financial standpoint, for the Big 12, it didn't make sense to add UConn because you had to pay for their football program.
100%.
And with Gonzaga, it doesn't make sense. You're going to lose money joining the Big 12 as a basketball member. You're going to lose money. You're going to lose access because you will not, in this league, in the Big 12, Gonzaga will not go to the NCAA tournament every year. They will not. This league, we can debate this, but it's too good. The basketball in this league is too good. There are very few Houstons in this world who join the league, and it's like, damn, Houston's the best team in this league. There are very few of those. And I think if you look at the four corner schools, basketball only got better. Basketball, the Arizona schools, while down a little bit, are still very solid. Colorado basketball last year was obviously very good. The run-in Utes are coming. The lady Utes are phenomenal. Women's basketball matters, by the way.
Yes.
I know we don't want to talk about that. Women's sports, specifically women's basketball, matters. And I think you look at the commitment that Utah has made to women's sports, it's fantastic. So if you're Gonzaga, does it make a lot of sense to leave? You want to talk about auto bids, to leave the WCC where you're in the NCAA tournament every year because their champion has an auto bid? Would you leave that to go to the Big 12?
No,
I wouldn't.
Nope.
Doesn't make sense. So I think that's where that's at. And I know there's been a lot of going back and forth. You look at Brett McMurphy taking a lot of heat for this right here because he said it as though it was done. Pac-12 still needs minimum of 2 football members by 2026. Gonzaga, even without football, will receive a full conference revenue share in the Pac-12. To which Ben Portnoy, not to be mistaken for Dave Portnoy, the pizza guy at Barstool, Ben Portnoy at SPJ, Sports Business Journal, Ben Portnoy. The report linking Gonzaga to the Pac-12 is not correct. Sources close to the discussion tell Sports Business Journal. And again, I want to point out, where is this? This is Sports Business Journal, but look at the date, September 23rd. Right? So I will just continue to tell you. Today is September 25th. I think we talked about this last Friday. Thursday or Friday, you can go back. We're running, boys. We're ahead of it. And then you look at Nicole Auerbach and NBC Sports. The report stating Gonzaga is headed to the Pac-12 is not accurate. Both sides are having serious conversations. Nothing has been agreed upon by the parties at this point. And then you look at the tweet at the bottom. Discussions could certainly progress and lead Gonzaga to decide to leave the WCC for the new Pac-12, but that has not happened at this point, multiple sources say.
And by the way, I just want to point out, you think Portnoy and Auerbach are talking to similar people? You notice how similar that verbiage is in their tweets, right? That the reporting that Gonzaga is leaving is not accurate. They both said the same thing.
And I just go back to Memphis. I've been telling you, Memphis is not joining. That it was really going to come down to, could the Pac-12 get Tulane without Memphis? And the answer was no.
Yeah, I just don't think that, again, I don't know what is going to get the Pac-12 over the hump. Like, if you set the lawsuit thing to the side, for a second.
That hurts them. It does not help them.
And I agree with that. And if you consider that hurts them, it doesninto help them. And then you set that to the side and you say, okay, well, what's going to be the thing that kind of pushes this situation more into the positive, more into the positive?
What could it even be?
I don't know. I like typically it's a TV deal, but a more prolific TV deal, like not just 10 a year. Like if it came out tomorrow that the Pac-12 got 15 a year or some crazy
Okay,
number.
I could see that.
Now it's like, all right, cool. Hey, Tulane, you got 15 a year sitting here. You're saying no to that? Like,
Hey, Gonzaga basketball, we're going to give you $15 million a year not to play football. Okay, that makes tremendous sense.
Now we have something to talk about. But I don't know, man. I continue to say it. I think that I was thinking about this last night when we have situations like this, and it crossed my mind with the Florida State thing. When anytime lawsuits and paperwork are involved, one of my first thoughts is, okay, this is turning into a distraction in the bigger picture of college athletics. And what's taking place that we're not seeing yet? Like, notice everyone's gone off of the Super League thing. Like, that's kind of chilled out, but that doesn't mean conversations aren't still happening and that process is at play.
In fact, I think the Super League to happen needs people to stop talking about the Super League happening.
Yeah, and I feel like this Pac-12 thing is now turning into like this itch that won't stop itching. It's a distraction. It's a negative, thing
but
taking place.
They did it to themselves.
They did 100%. They did.
I hope for fans of the Pac-12, man, I really hope that at some point, and this is outside of Kirk Schultz, and I guess that's a big voice, and he's retiring. I really hope that whoever is the new leadership voice in that conference gets a grip on who they are and where they are, because I think they are lost in the game of perspective. They are just lost. They don't understand. Like, you are not helping yourself suing the Mountain West. I think that move right there. And it's the same thing at Florida State. And I think we've even said this. We're going to look back on that lawsuit and we're going to say, that's where you lost this game.
You messed it up.
That's where you overstepped. I understand why. I am even on board to a certain extent with the Pac-12 poaching the Mountain West. I think we talked about it when the scheduling alignment came out. I think we all knew this was the eventuality.
Yes.
But then when you lost, it wasn't good enough. You went to court where you're going to lose again. And it's incredibly disappointing. And what should have happened here, you should have merged. And you should have had Gloria Nevarez be the commissioner of the new Pac-12.
Do you guys recognize the similarities between the ACC and Florida State and between the Mountain West and the Pac-12? What was the question we were asking Florida State? Hey, well, okay, let's say that you win. Then what? Well, like, what's the point of all this? Because you're not just going to get into another conference, right?
No.
And we're asking the exact same question of the Pac-12. Let's say you win. Then what? What so these schools, so you win the lawsuit, you don't have to pay the fees, and then what? You're going to add a slew of schools that don't exist?
Yeah.
Like, is that what we're talking? Like, come on, dude. Like, that's my problem.
But again, who's the loser here?
The Pac-12. Pac-12 is clearly the loser.
Oregon State fan. Oregon State football. Memphis. Is there anybody on this show right now who doesn't think Memphis belongs in a power conference? That's a really good football team, and their basketball program ain't half bad. Tulane. Are you telling me Tulane doesn't belong in a power conference? Yes, they do.
Yeah, I think they've shown that.
Yes, they
time
do.
And time again.
But that you deserve
what you've earned.
Only what you've earned.
Yeah.
And it's not what you're capable of, it's what you're willing to do. And in this situation with the AAC, they're not willing to join the Pac-12 because the Pac-12 can't deliver a power conference. And frankly speaking, if I'm USF and I'm about to break ground in a matter of days on an on-campus football stadium that is 30, I think it's $300 million.
Yeah.
Why would I go and join a West Coast conference where I'm going to lose money on football? That makes zero sense.
As a very competitive football program.
And if I am Gonzaga, why am I going to leave an auto bid, a guaranteed recruiting pipeline? Because kids want to play, especially the one and dones. And I know Mark Few doesn't often embrace those guys, but a pipeline of recruiting, which is national TV. I'm playing Michigan State on aircraft carriers in San Diego.
Program.
Not because I was a 500 team in the Pac-12 or the Big 12. Rather, not because I'm getting less money in the Pac-12? No, because I dominate the WCC and I can paint a picture that I have real competition in St. Mary's down the road in the Bay Area. Like, why would I leave that?
Well, and I think so. Roundabout down here, second from the bottom, saying no idea how they're going to pay for that stadium. They've got that all planned out. That's covered. That's the point. The point is that they've got that covered already. That's all. Like they've got that earmarked. The money's there. That's why they're breaking ground on it. And so the conversation is not how they're paying for the stadium. The conversation is, why would you take on more risk for something that is not an assurance?
The financing conversation at USF is, how are you going to pay for commercial airfare, infrastructure, humanity, equipment, like everything that it takes to fly commercial to play college football? That's what you can't pay for.
For what?
At the end of the day, what's the gain? Mountain Mama says Memphis is a good football and college school. Yes, it is. They need to upgrade the stadium. They can also bring FedEx money, who offered to pay for a championship game. 100%. They have dollars. I agree their facilities need an upgrade. And Memphis is dealing with some political issues as well. You look at the situation, they're not dissimilar to Miami, who needs a better stadium situation.
Right. Yeah, I just think that, USF, like, I first of all, I think when you're in Florida, that's a totally different landscape than being in.
But I can draw the timeline though, Jake. With you look at UCF.
Yeah.
They've built along a very similar trajectory to USF that USF is going to take, right? And you look at Memphis. Memphis needs to kind of follow that same plan.
Mm-hmm.
Memphis is, if they continue to do what they're doing, they're 3 to 5 years away from that. And you can hasten that timeline with cash injection, which if the ACC does bring in private equity and private money, as they say they're doing, that could certainly change that trajectory. But you look at USF, that's 18 months.
Right.
That's a really short timeline. And my God, the college football world could be completely different in 18 months.
And that's why I give them a lot of credit for investing in an on-campus facility. I like, it tells me that, at USF, they understand what the environment you got to create, like the public image you got to create. And I think that, the state of Florida is such a, it's such a firecracker with business and how things are done. And, UCF setting a precedent, getting into a power conference like the Big 12, like that basically laid the foundation for USF to go and just copy the model. And that's why they need the stadium. And I will never be shocked when a G5 school says, we're not going to pay to fly across the country constantly. I mean,
I agree.
Again, it's Stanford, right? The only reason Stanford can do the ACC is because of the endowment and because they don't have to care. It's very clear.
Make sure you hit the like button. We're approaching well over 2,500 views on the show today, and we only have 57 likes. So if you're here, please hit the like button. If you're watching on social media, hello, Facebook, X. Hope you guys are having a great day.
The X platform.
Come on over to YouTube. Just Google search The Monty Show, Monty, The Monty Show. And hit subscribe, give us a thumbs up. It really helps the channel grow.